Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3 and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is
Matthew High Five Candy Bar Haas.
High Five Candy Bar. My favorite candy bar, except for that one part.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like the white stuff. I don't know. Just don't.
Nope. The white stuff, baby.
That's a reference.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, that's...
Okay.
Wait, that's the Weird Al cover of New Kids on the Block?
The right stuff, yeah.
Oh. The white stuff is like Oreo or something like that.
Oreo. Yeah. So... Matt, before we start here, I have something that's concerning me in the world that I need to discuss with you.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Okay, so I accidentally came across a conspiracy theory online. It's this conspiracy theory that birds are not real.
Okay. I've heard of this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically,
they're like drones or something.
Yeah.
Or...
In the 70s, all the birds were killed and replaced by the CIA with drones that are spying on us.
Okay, so have none of them ever seen like a dead bird like on the side of the road? They got hit by a car, and you could see like actual like live, for want of a better word, I guess live bird. Like there's nothing electric or you know what I mean? Like how do you explain?
Maybe
that?
It's so sophisticated that it looks like bones instead of mechanical instruments or something.
Gotcha. So they feel pain. That's just part of the illusion. They can feel restless if they're like in a cage. You know, they need food somehow, which is interesting. So a drone needs food to eat, or it won't survive. Okay.
Yep.
That's really interesting. So are like worms now? Are they like drones too?
They must be. Maybe that's where they keep all the information. I'm just wondering because, like, you know, like my uncle has like a parrot who's like, you know, really old, and I think like older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to figure out if, you know, why they didn't kill that parrot and replace it with a drone, or maybe they did when he wasn't looking.
Or maybe, maybe parrots are still alive. But that's it, you know. Then again, though, that would then imply that, you know, they would have to try to kill all the parrots because they want to replace all the birds with their drones. And the fact that parrots can talk, that is interest as well, because the parrots might be able to tell people what's going on. Like, hey, by the way, all the birds are dead. They're all drones now. So it would actually be, you know, conducive to their interest to kill all the parrots or other birds that can, you know, talk.
Might be.
Which implies either that these drones are just bad at their jobs completely, or it's all bullshit. Either one.
Yeah. I mean, I was at my dad's house recently, and he has some birds, pet birds. And one of them died while I was there.
Mm-hmm.
He was limping around in the bottom of the cage, so...
Aww.
Does that just mean the battery died in the drone?
Aww. I guess. I mean, if that's what they... Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways...
So the Earth is flat. You know, that's gaining... Yeah.
Donald Trump won the election. Yep. Frogs are gay. And,
I hate this. Yeah, frogs are... I hate this country so much, dude. I'm sorry, I just do. Like there's some simulation going on where, like, literally everything bad that can happen is happening at, like, breakneck speed. Like, I mean, like, everything. Like, infrastructure crumbling, economy sucks, diseases, no health care, you know, pandemic, and people are just believing in the most insane shit possible. And it's like, and like they have to, like, it's almost like a drug where, like, they get used to one thing, they have to, like, up their tolerance to, oh well, it's not enough that they're, you know, like, sacrificing children and harvesting their brain juice. Now it's, well, the brain juice turns them into alien special beings that allows them to control people with their minds, and the weather, which previously was controlled by the Jews, but now they're controlled by the Democrats. But let's be honest, most of the Democrats are Jews. And it's just like, oh my God, like, at what point do you just completely, like, divorce yourself from reality? Like, just, like, 100, like the thread that you had is just like, that's too much. I need just complete fantasy world from here on out. Just fuck reality, fuck logic, fuck whatever. I just hate this country. I just do.
So, speaking of things that went wrong in this country,
so
let's talk about the Michael Richards show. Oh boy,
that's where it all started. See,
yes, it all started back in the
year 2000.
2000.
It's 2000. Yes. Really, technically, you could actually take this all back to 2000 is where what really things started to go downhill. I mean, it was going downhill before that, but that was like it was almost like going to the roller coaster, the top of the roller coaster, and then it was just going down.
Yeah.
There. Michael Richards show, he started it, so thanks for that, Michael Richards.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't his fault, but
yeah. Maybe it was. Maybe it was.
Maybe.
I'm
thinking the network, but maybe it was.
Yeah. So, the Michael Richards Show is an American sitcom television series that was created by Spike Furstein, who is my Facebook friend. In case you're listening to this, Spike, it's nothing against you, man. Just letting you know.
Here we go, just make fun of his show. Like,
yeah.
God. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I always feel bad about these things where I'm like tearing down someone else's work. Like,
yeah. Well, Spike's done a lot of great things in his career. So, he used to write on Seinfeld and other things too. So he's, he was one of the writers of the Soup Nazi episode of Seinfeld. So he's got a lot going for him, just on that alone. It was also created by Greg Cavett, Andy Robin, and Michael Richards. So there we go. It debuted on NBC from October 24th till December 19th of the year 2000. And the premise of the show was that Michael Richards was a socially awkward but talented private detective named Vic Nardoza, who gets the job done despite his unusual methods. Yes. He's working for this this company called McKay Investigation Services. Throughout the history of the show, misunderstandings and poor decisions get in the way of the cases, but Nardoza always ends up getting the job done, like I said. So, yeah. The show also starred William Devane, Bill Cobbs, Amy Farrington, and Tim Meadows. Yes.
Yep.
And we are covering the unaired pilot. Yes.
Yeah.
Just to let you know one thing really quick here. In a 2015 interview, co-star William Devane recalled that making the show was a nightmare. So.
Wow.
Anyways, so,
wow.
Yeah. What happened in this unaired pilot here, Matthew?
Well, what happened was I had the pleasure, I guess is the word, of watching it 3 times for some reason. So I guess I sort of liked it enough to. So it starts off with this woman. She had a job at the place, and the guy hires her, and has her working. Michael Richards' character to kind of sort of just, show her the ropes, type of thing. And they got these like little jokes, like I guess they were supposed to be. I don't know, like Tim Meadows. He's like talking, like, oh well, at least now we got something to look at in the office because casual sexism is fun, I guess, in the early 2000s. And then the older dude, I forgot what his was.
Bill Cobbs. He played
the actor.
Bill Cobbs. He played Jack.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff, and
oh yeah,
you recognize him by his voice. He's got a very distinct voice, like you know who he is from, and he's like, she seems like a nice person, and from what my understanding is, nice people tend to come from nice families, and nice families tend to, like, he does this thing throughout the whole episode, like trying to make like these deep points or whatever. And then Tim Meadows' character was like, yeah, great, I'll remember that or whatever. Which that was kind of funny, I think.
Yeah, they're probably the two best parts of the episode.
I don't know, like,
yeah.
Yeah, Tim Meadows was like one of my favorite actors on SNL, during like the 90s era and stuff like that. So like, seeing him in this show was kind of cool. But other than that, it was just like, so basically, long story short, they have this case, Michael Richards' character and this woman, I forgot her name, where this candy company, like the people like on the board, I guess, or whatever, they suspect that the founder of the company and who's like the pub base of the company, that he's abusing drugs, and they want to make sure that's true before like they try to get him help or whatever. And like they just go into this whole like gag about like how like Michael Richards likes the candy bars that they have in the office, but that they don't sell anymore, but they make them somehow, which is okay. I don't get that, but all right, like, you're gonna make product, but you're not gonna sell it. So like, why are you wasting labor? Okay, that's a minor. It's like a nitpicking point right there, but and like it's 5 bar because it has like 5 different flavors. Like you finish one layer and then you go to like the next one or whatever, and like he's like making the whole like interview about the candy bar. Like, how come you guys stopped selling this? And can you hook me up with some of these bars, to solve the case or whatever? Like, and then he just, just like leaves after they just tell him like a little bit about, that they suspect the founders of using drugs. And then like, he does a whole Kramer thing where he's like, and then, shaking his body and like because he doesn't like the white flavored stuff or whatever. And then so like they're driving back and he's like, you made me look like a buffoon. Like he even like Kramer, like a buffoon. It's like, oh god, like that's the thing like I hate about this. It's like they're like trying so hard to make him like Kramer. It's like like anyway, can you take it from here because I'm already bored.
In my opinion, they should have just made this a spin-off of Seinfeld and made him Kramer, that would have been better.
Right.
So, yeah, he's hired to check into this thing, and he and Stacy, Amy Farrington's character, are on the case here. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened, but they're trying to get the guy's DNA. They follow him to the dentist at one point, and Vic, Michael Richards' character, pretends to be a dentist and goes into the operating room and tries to take stuff out of the guy's mouth, and he does. Turns out it was the wrong patient. Like happens.
Yep.
And God, this show is bad.
Then he does the whole Kramer thing by shaking his body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Do you want to actually take a break here, Matt, and then we can come back and talk more about the rest of the episode?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back.
What is Gen X? What is the silent generation? What do generations have in common? Hi, I'm Trish the Dish from the Gen X Voice podcast, and I invite you to listen to conversations I have with folks from different generations, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences in an attempt to see what connects rather than divides us. Even though Gen X has been called slackers, Karens, or not mentioned at all in some cases, we are the bridge generation, so I feel compelled to do my part to destroy ageism by bringing all these voices together. And, as a bonus, each guest gets to answer some 80s questions at the end of each show. So download and listen to Gen X Voice today on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's see how much we have in common after all.
Hi, this is Catherine, host of a new fashion podcast, The Real Fashion School Dropout. Join me as I interview guests every week in the fashion and beauty space, and we gossip on all things fashion and beauty and even get into some personal stories of their journey in the industry. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Hope to see you there.
And we are back. All right, so, Matt.
Yep.
Oh, boy. Michael Richards.
Yeah, I forgot to mention a few things. Can I back up a little bit?
Oh, sure, of course.
Okay, so there's like a B plot going on in this episode as well, where Tim Meadows' character, for some reason, they made him like addicted to voyeurism. I don't know why. Whatever. Okay, so they played up that whole thing where he's a voyeur, and he was supposed to go to some like island resort to spy on this this guy who was like an insurance scammer or something, but they were having like a bikini contest. I don't know, something like that. Like a Miss Caribbean contest going on, and then like they played up that whole thing where he's like, oh, like I can't go then because of that or whatever. And then he's like calling up the dude, and the guy's like just like admitting to all of his crimes on the phone, and he's like, I really should have taped that, you know, like. And then he calls again a second time, and the guy says the same thing, that he's taking State Farm for $60,000 a year, and then he repeats his name, me, John DeSantos or whatever, and he's like, I really gotta start taping this. It's like, okay, so like I think I watched it 3 times because there's like, I see it like it's almost funny, I think is what it is, and it's like it's just something is like pulling it back, you know what I mean? And where I'm like, I'm seeing these parts, I'm like, this could be funny. Like, I don't know, like, it's just something that's not like holding it all together. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's just from my perspective.
It's hard to say if it's the writing or the directing or the acting or what is causing the almost funny that isn't quite happening here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of hard to understand. I don't know. It's just like there's so many, I guess, good concepts here that just kind of go in a weird direction or something.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like I'm kind of biased here because, you know, I love Tim Meadows. Like, you know, I was like, you know, 13, 14 years old when I first started really watching SNL, like, on my own.
Yeah.
And that was, like, around the time when he quit, kind of, but there was, like, a good 2 years or so where I would, like, he was, like, one of my favorite actors in this. He's just got this really good deadpan sarcasm that I like.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, like, I don't know, I'm drawn to that kind of humor. So that was kind of cool. And just the whole Michael Rich, like, Kramer stuff, like, you know, like, he's choking on the candy bar because he thinks it's lime, and he's, like, gagging on it, and it's, like, and he's, like, writhing in the car, you know, like, okay, and then, like, they're spying on the dude at his house, like, they're hiding out in the bushes, and then Stacy sees a possum, and they, like, you know, he starts screaming like Kramer would scream. He at one point, the rich guy's having his groceries delivered to him, which is interesting because that's like a thing now, but back then maybe only big cities like LA or wherever the city's taking place did that kind of thing. But and like he tries to get into a fight with the guy, and he ends up falling over, bumbling like a fool, like Kramer. I'm like, yeah,
it's sure. I don't. Oh God, this show. The I don't know. I mean, this is part of what they called the Seinfeld curse, too. You know, like where the whole, you know, first outings that each of these actors that were on Seinfeld had in trying to do something after Seinfeld didn't really work.
Right. Yeah. Like Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So she at least, you know, she did the Christine show that lasted a while.
Yeah, and then Veep.
And Veep, and then of course she plays a character in the
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, there we go.
So,
Falcon Winter Soldier. Yeah. So. But Jason Alexander, I think he's kind of got the worst of it, because I don't think he's done much since.
Well, he's done a lot, actually, a lot of Broadway and other things, and he's been in a lot of movies and stuff, but and guest spots, and he's done a few sitcoms that failed too. So, which we will cover in the future on this, because yeah.
Actually, Michael Richards actually probably has the worst of it. Actually,
yeah, I'm gonna say that because he kind of, revealed that he was a racist on stage.
Yeah, he fucked that up.
Yeah,
because real bad. Because when I typed, in, I didn't realize how long ago this was. It's like Michael Richards' apology video from 14 years ago on YouTube. And I'm like, Jesus, YouTube has been around that long that there's 14-year-old videos on.
I didn't realize it was that long ago. And I mean, he was even in a short-lived sitcom in 2013 as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, called Kirstie, starring Kirstie Alley.
Huh.
Yeah.
That was 2007 when he did that race.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of interesting that somebody hired him after that.
Yeah, well, it was 5 years after.
Yeah.
Or 6 years after the fact, and he did officially do an apology tour, which, again, I'm not really sure how I feel about apology tours, because it's kind of like, is it really sincere, or is it just something that you have to do type of thing? But
yeah, it depends. It really depends on the person, I think, because it's like sometimes they are really sincere, and then sometimes it's like, I don't know.
I remember that when that happened, he was saying he was just trying to be shocking, but he was saying weird stuff in between too, like. Oh, those old prejudices, or I don't know, something weird where it's like, that sounds like you're having like a mental breakdown on stage, or I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? It could have been.
Plus, too, he was claiming that he was Jewish, but he was never, for one thing, he was never born to like Jewish parents, and he never officially like converted, and they're like this rabbi or whatever at the synagogue he was going to was like, he's welcome to like study our religion and come to our temple, but like in order to like really call yourself Jewish, like you actually have to be like certified like by a rabbi. Like you can't just say you're Jewish, So I think he's just a weird guy all around.
Yeah, maybe it would have been better if our previous guest, Larry Hankin, actually got the role of Kramer like you auditioned for. But
that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, he does Kramer. That's the thing. He does Kramer very well, and again, like I saw that video you sent me. I saw that earlier in the day, actually, before you sent it to me, and it does seem like the network was like really like getting in the way of the show, trying to push the whole Seinfeld, Kramer aspect of it. Like I remember they even had a song where they were like promoting the show, and like one of the lyrics even said like with that Seinfeld guy or something like that. So it's like they were really trying to like paint the picture of like, oh, you love Kramer, right? Oh, well, Kramer's going to be a new show, but it's not actually Kramer. It's the guy who plays Kramer, but he's going to act like Kramer. Okay, and then it just fell. It just fell flat.
Yeah. So, what else happened in this episode here, Matt?
So, they got the two stories going on. Tim Meadows, he's trying to get dirt on that dude who's stealing $60,000 from State Farm every year, and he always forgets to tape the phone calls every time, and he's always like bumbling the calls, like saying that he's the name of the guy that he's calling and all this kind of stuff. And then the Stacy and Vic, they like you said before, like they went to the dentist and he got I think he got saliva and blood, and then when he found out that it wasn't him, he did the whole Kramer thing by shaking his body and gagging. And then because he's got some Randall's person's blood, which is like, why, like, if you had the right person's blood and saliva, why would that not be disgusting? But you have the wrong person's blood and saliva, somehow that's disgusting? Like,
yes.
Okay, whatever.
Exactly.
So apparently, is blood and saliva just not disgusting on its own terms? But whatever. And then, but before that though, they did a whole like Chubb's Happy Gilmore scene where he's like, "Oh, it's all in the hips" or whatever, trying to give him golf pointers, and he ends up getting a hair sample first because they couldn't get a positive result because he had hair dye in his hair, so they couldn't. They couldn't test him positive for drugs for that. But then they, I guess they did finally test him positive. I don't remember. Something like that.
There was another part where they were underneath his house.
Yes.
Trying to collect his feces and urine from the toilet.
That's right. And that's where she saw the possum. Yeah.
Yeah.
God. What a way to. Yeah. And they had this weird conversation about soil. Like, you got good soil where you live. Like, again, it's like weird, like, cheap things like that could be funny if they were just delivered well or something. I don't like. Again, it's just one of those things where it's like I can almost like see what they were trying to do. Like, I just can't quite like get it, And
I mean, you can't really put your finger on what exactly caused this to not be funny.
Yeah.
It's.
So they eventually, Vic eventually goes there, like pretending to be like someone, like I don't remember.
They figured out that they thought that maybe he was getting the drugs from a food delivery guy who was delivering groceries to him.
Yeah.
And so Vic posed as the delivery guy one time. After already fucking up the thing, we're trying to intercept the groceries at one point.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's right. And then she thought that she had evidence, but then it turned out that it was Vic, the one that was doing it. So like,
she recorded the thing. Oh my god, this show was bad. Anyway, so they go to his house and he basically admits to the whole thing, like and he's going to go to rehab, and which is weird. He took it very good. I figured a drug addict would be more like aggressive and like defensive, and stuff like that. But no, he took it like a champ. Yeah,
he's like, yeah. I started experimenting in the Depression. I'm like, wait, that was the 1930s, dude. This show takes place in 2000. Was in 2000, so that's
he said he was 80, so.
Which means he probably started when he was like, what, 15?
Yeah.
Or 20, maybe 20.
Yeah.
And then, he's like, I can't get enough of the white stuff, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's talking about the candy bar, but he's really talking about cocaine, And then what else? Oh, yeah, then they basically, they ask him for a favor to book a room for 2 so Tim Meadows' character can go to rehab as well, which is weird because it's a drug rehab place and voyeurism is a sexual addiction, so I'm not sure.
Well, it could be just a general rehab.
I guess, yeah. An Eric Clapton rehab, by the way.
Yeah. And the brochure looks like a guitar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was the show, man. That was the show.
That was it. That was... Yep.
The greatest pilot ever written and acted and directed and produced and unaired.
And unaired. Yeah, exactly. All the other 7 episodes were aired, but not this one.
Yeah, I think it was like 9 episodes total.
Okay.
Yeah, that aired. Yeah. Oh, no, 8 episodes. 9 produced, counting this one.
Okay.
And 8 of them aired. Yeah. Between October and December of 2000. You want to take a break here, Matt, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some reviews of the show and some trivia and stuff?
Some trivs?
Yes. Some trivs and
right.
views.
Yeah, sure.
We'll be right back, folks.
Need a new podcast to listen to? Well, why not check out the Super Podcast from the Super Network at supermarcy.com, where we discuss films and pop culture, and we do monthly fan-voted commentaries. We are available on all major podcasting platforms.
And we are back. Okay, so, alright, here's some trivia from the Internet Movie Database. Ready for this, Matt?
Yes.
Okay. During the show's pre-production stages, Michael Richards intended to keep his character as far apart as possible from Kramer. But NBC disagreed, and the character ended up with some similar characteristics to Kramer. Yeah.
Yep.
Stephen Tobolowsky turned down the role of Brady McKay that William Devane ended up playing. I have actually recently talked to Stephen. He might be on our show soon, so just letting you know that too, by the way. So,
cool.
Michael Richards based his character's surname, Nardoza, after his mother's maiden name, Nardozzi.
Cool.
Co-star William Devane stated in a 2015 AV Club interview that he did not enjoy working on the show and that it was a nightmare. So, there's that.
There is that.
That's the reviews. Here's some, I mean, that was the trivia. I mean, you want to hear some reviews here, Matt?
Oh, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so... Alright, the first one is, glad it got canceled. This is from... this is from Matty Matt Forever. Was this you? No.
No. Nope.
This was on March 18th of 2002. Okay. Michael Richards is a hugely talented comic actor who stole almost every scene as Cosmo Kramer on Seinfeld. He is one of the best physical comics out there, and one day I hope he will hit it big in either TV or the movies. Hopefully he'll make more comedies like UHF and Unstrung Heroes, and not ones like the hugely disappointing Trial and Error. But this show is as lame as can be, and I guess the creators thought it would add flair to assemble one of the biggest ensemble casts in sitcom history. I don't think that really was. That way, Tim Meadows, William Devane, and Bill Cobbs can have equal time at wasting their talents. As Robert De Niro said in A Bronx Tale, there's nothing worse than wasted talent. The Michael Richards Show is a prime example.
Good movie.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
Yeah. Here's another one, a 2 out of 10. Not good. John 6 Daniels on the 13th of June 2021, so just recently. This show had crusty written all over it. It wasn't funny at all. It tries to be and failed at it. Most of the episodes are dry. To get past 3 of them, then you must have a strong willpower. Last words. Horrible show coming after the Titan Seinfeld. So here here is a another one from Mr. Op-Ed on October 28th of 2000. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and not always for the right reasons. A titan of physical comedy and nonsense, syllables. Richards does provide what one expects from a comedy, laughs. I was tickled at least a few times. Yes, laugh out loud funny, not just a smile. He manages to distance himself almost completely from Kramer, which is no mean trick, considering he's meant to deliver a similar level of yucks. So I laughed. But I also cried. Much of the show just sits there. William Devane enters, and despite his charm, seems like he's accidentally stumbled into the wrong stage and then just tries to fit in. The Tim Meadows character is even more displaced. Bill Cobbs and Amy Farrington have potential. Mind, this isn't because two actors can act and two can't. They all can, but only the last two are remotely integral characters to the show. At least the premiere was written. I'll certainly give it another chance and hope Devane and Meadows get better lines and plotting. So this was like written during the time the show actually came out. So
Right, yeah.
okay, here is a 7 out of 10, written just this past February in 2021, by Wiley Schmidt. Worth watching. Don't listen to the negative Nancys. This show is fun, and at least worth checking out once. Plus, it won't take you very long, being that there are only 8 episodes. Michael Richards is great in this, and not too far off from at all from Kramer. Which I think was a wise choice not to change. What works and makes people laugh about his natural humor. The other characters are okay, and the writing is decent, but it certainly has the feeling of a show that wouldn't be around for very long, and it definitely reminds one of similar shows that didn't take and had a bit of a rushed feeling to them. Like Norm Macdonald's show Norm, which was fortunate enough to get 3 seasons. Without Kramer, Seinfeld would have never hit the stratosphere level that it did. And the Michael Richards show showcases some of what made Cosmo Kramer everyone's favorite Seinfeld character, and had and still has them laughing out loud at his silly yet brilliant antics.
That's a bit presumptuous to say everyone's favorite Seinfeld character. I mean,
Yes.
That's not possible. It's everyone's favorite.
I mean, my favorite character is the third guy from the left in the background of that one scene.
I think I know what scene you're talking about. It's good stuff.
Yeah, he just stands there really well.
Yeah, he's a good stander.
Yes.
You might think that you might think that might be a taken for granted thing, but no, like standing is a skill on its own. I mean,
and Seinfeld was a stand-up, so he did it too. So it's all good.
Yeah, not everyone can just stand. I mean, you've seen bad standers before. I mean, like Trump, for example, he can't stand very well. He's got a weird standing posture,
Yeah.
So like it's not, can't just take it for granted that everybody, is a good stander.
And sometimes he wears his
It's
pants,
just facts,
pants
man.
backwards.
Sorry.
He
But
wears-
still,
yeah.
So it was a bad film or whatever, low
Yes.
resolution.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so
It's the one thing he can claim. Yeah.
anything else here, Matt, about the show? Would you recommend it to anyone to watch
No.
this pilot?
No.
What about to
No.
Trump? Would you recommend he watches it?
Sure, I mean, yeah, because I don't care for that guy at all. So, sure, by all means, watch some show that's not really good. and kind of waste your time a little bit. I mean, his whole life is a waste of time, so whatever. But
could we do to him like what
just
they
wait.
did to what they did to Alex in A Clockwork Orange, and like pry open his eyes and make him watch this? Yeah.
Well, they made him watch like a bunch of like violent and like disturbing footage, I guess.
Yeah.
To make him feel
Mm-hmm.
guilty about him, but wouldn't that just desensitize him more than he already was? So, like, wouldn't that even like make him more of like a violent psychopath? Like, whatever.
I don't know. I'm no scientist.
It was a controversial therapy, I guess is the word. Yeah.
That happens. So
It's controversial. It's it happens. Yeah, it does.
What anything else before we wrap things up here, Matt?
Just be a good person, I guess, and watch stuff that you like to watch on TV. Or watch or watch stuff that you don't like to watch, or just don't watch TV if you don't like to watch TV. If you just want to, read a book or
listen to a podcast,
go somewhere, because now you are good.
You can do whatever you want, folks. I would recommend, folks, that you go and check out all2real2.com. Give us a 5-star review on the Apple Podcast app or any other app that you can do that on. I don't know what's going on in the internets these days.
Yeah, do that or whatever, what have you, and
yes, and make sure you follow us on the grams. At Cullen Park.
The grams, yeah.
Yeah, Cullen Park on the grams, on the twits, and the books. We do have a Facebook. We do have a Facebook group called the All Too Real 2 podcast group, which is an awesome place to be, man. It's
like, yeah,
it's what the kids are doing these days, and
a lot cooler than like Cedar Point or any place like that. It's like, soup's fun, man. Soups.
Yep. I like
soups.
I like soup.
Soup's all right.
Yeah. Like chicken noodle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, make sure you all out there be kind to each other. Rewind each other.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
How do you rewind people?
Just make them think about their past. No, you don't do that because that's not always good.
Yeah, I mean sometimes it is, but
yeah. But
not always.
But when you go back in time after you rewind your life and you rent a movie, make sure you rewind it before you return it, because as a former video store employee myself, that kind of sucked, man. It did. Yeah. Be kind, rewind, get vaxxed. Wear a condom. Wear a mask if you still have to. And eat soup. Because it's good, chicken noodle.
It's good for you. Yeah, it's good for you.
Go to Panera, get some chicken noodle with some bread. It's good. Dip the bread in it.
Ooh.
Good stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
Good stuff. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.